You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
And welcome back to the second half of the Factor Uncensored. Tonight, we're holding law enforcement agencies accountable for their extra outlandish social media posts. Now, if you scroll through their feeds, you may see some sensational headlines above mugshots of videos. No doubt, social media is a great tool to spread the word about an important arrest or crime in your community, or if police need or want to get more eyes on the bad guy they're looking for. But we can't help but wonder, are some law enforcement agencies just using clout for clicks?
I saw one where a guy was arrested for an incident in Taco Bell, but it wasn't a big deal. And I'm like, why is this on their social media page? And in this particular agency, it's done over and over again. So Herschel Smith, when you see individuals, law enforcement agencies out there trying to get likes on someone's misfortune or arrest, your thoughts on that?
Well, for so long, social media been good and it's been bad. And, when it comes down to law enforcement, we got policies and procedures about what the officers can put on social media. But when you have policies that reflects the officers, but you don't have policies that reflect you as an agency and the character of your agency, it's something that, the political side is some of the things that most elected officials get caught up in, because they want to try to make a big name for themselves and make like this great cop who's out here doing a great job, which everybody should be doing a great job no matter who you are. But when you use social media for your own personal gain, that's a problem.
Karen, your thoughts about law enforcement agencies using social media for personal gain and to get likes and to get followers, and caught in the middle are suspects whose lives are ruined because their photos are tweeted out.
Right. So, the best way, what I've seen is that the strategy is just aggressive overall. The headlines are very strong. They're labeling people that are getting arrested for drunk driving, which is, let's just face it, an everyday crime, and people that are assaulting an employee at Taco Bell, and they're putting them out there, all captions. It's a very headline, catchy approach, but they're using this as a tool and as a vessel to just grow their app downloads. Go follow my Facebook page. And here we have other things to sell you on. So the approach to me is a little bit aggressive, especially because it's being done at the expense of everyday criminals that are not, committing major crime. And I think that their strategy just could be retweaked to create the right awareness, to maybe get the right people to download this app, if it is indeed trying to promote the well-being and the welfare of the community.
Now, Karen, and both of you and I both know there is an audience out there. There are people who used to read the arrest records in the newspaper. They're looking for
one of them.
There's a thirst for that.
Yeah.
But
definitely,
at some point, a responsible agency or entity should say, look, enough is enough. Unless they have murdered 10 people or 5 people in a house, why are we putting these people out there, ruining their reputations, their jobs, just for likes and to get people to follow us? And I'd like to hear from both of you on that.
Mugshots, and they're using their date of birth. So that information just, to me, should, not that it shouldn't be made available to the public, but it shouldn't be used in this capacity to lure users, to just, clickbait users on social media. I'm a huge fan of the news. I read all the news every day. I want to see what's going on in my city, especially in my community and my neighborhood, and what criminals are walking around me. But it's just, I'm a little bit perplexed when I open it up and it's like, oh, but download this app or click and join our Facebook group. I'm like, wait, are you trying to educate me on the crime that happened or why this is important to me? Or do you want me to just hop over to your Facebook group now?
Yeah, that's the question. Constable Smith, your thoughts on that when we talk about how individuals are basically ruining the community because this agency just wants to get clicks and social media followers?
When we have nothing in place to constrain officers and agencies, it's hard enough for us to get a public record from any agency as it is. But when we take the records that we get on individuals. And as I said, usually for our own personal gain, political gain, or whatever it may be. But the fact is, we as law enforcement enforcers must understand we must be friendly to the community, just because the expectation, we want the community to work with us, but we're not building that kind of relationship sometimes. We're tearing that relationship apart. But the more that we do things like that, the more that we're trying to destroy someone. We're not trying to build no one up in no form or fashion to try to rehabilitate anybody. And that's what law enforcement got to get more involved with, is trying to rehabilitate instead of trying to expose people as vicious criminals, you know, especially for these petty crimes that's going on in this day and time.
Yeah, because people start operating out of fear.
Go ahead, Karen.
Well, people start operating out of fear, and that's where that, you know, that trust isn't being built. And unfortunately, you know, I'm more scared about having my photo on social media blasted than I am to just even commit the crime. I'm just kidding.
There you go. We want to thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored to talk about this issue that we see is becoming a trend around the country. Thank you both for joining us here tonight on The Factor Uncensored.